task number 21 in the PTE Academic. This is the listening, highlight incorrect words. Oh, we're almost there. Almost there. One more to go after this. Now, this right here is similar to what you have heard me say about a lot of the listening tasks. Not much has changed. So you see, between the old test and the new test, the listening didn't really change much. The number of questions, the points distribution, they're all very similar to the old test. Now, this task right here is actually an important task because not only do you get listening points, but you also get reading points. Yes, they hide some reading points here. Now, one thing I noticed about this task is a lot of times people treat it like a game. Yes, like a game. I'll show you. But first, let me give you the overview. I'll give you an overview to what the highlight incorrect words task is, and then I'll talk a little bit about the scoring. That's important here. And then, of course, I got to talk about time management. Y'all ready? Let's get into it. Here is a rundown for the highlight incorrect words. You will be given 2 to 3 of these questions. Each passage will be read to you. Each passage will have 5 to 6 incorrect words. Each incorrect word you find is worth 1 point for the listening and the reading. There are negative markings for this task. That means don't guess. 0 is the lowest score you can receive. Okay, so the strategy for this task will be a little bit different from the other tasks with negative markings. Why? Because this one has a lot of points, right? This one can have up to 6 points. So, for example, if you pick 3 and you know the 3 are correct, and then you guess 3, you know you're about to get 0, right? Because the chances of you guessing correctly, no, very low. So I would suggest we don't guess anything here. Hopefully you can follow along and get as much as you can. But if you don't know if that is the correct answer, I would recommend not picking it, not guessing. I want you to walk away with points here because you get listening and reading. Okay? But for now, let me show you what this task looks like. This is a screenshot from the official PTE mock exam. This is the closest we're going to get to seeing what the task looks like on the exam. As you can see, again, you're going to have the audio player. And below that, you're going to have the passage. They will read the text to you. The difference is there will be words that are incorrect. So you need to follow along with your mouse. And as soon as you hear a word that you feel is incorrect, you click it. And that's it. That's all you do is you click it. The words will be highlighted and you just follow along. Now, if you feel like you were wrong, you can click it again and you can unhighlight it. But just make sure you don't guess because again, you have negative markings. Don't guess your answers. Now, this right here, by the time the lecture is over, it's over. And you can't go back and listen again. And we're also not going to guess. So pretty much you're not going to stay here. You're just going to press next, right? But always pay attention to the timer. And as soon as you're done, press the next button. So a lot of times people treat this like a game. And rightly so, because you look at it as someone's reading the text to you and you're following along. And if you can find the wrong words, you get a point. So they treat it like they're playing a video game. And it kind of makes sense. Overall, people do quite well here. So hopefully it's the same for you. But for now, let me show you the score guide. Down towards the bottom, we're almost finished. This is the highlight incorrect words. As you can see, we're going to get 2 to 3 of these tasks. And then you can see we're going to get listening and reading points. 1 point for each correct word. And then most importantly, -1 for each incorrect word. But again, 0 is the minimum score. On average, I usually get 5 to 6 of these wrong words. That means there's a potential for 5 or 6 points per question. And if you get 3 of these, woo, that's double digits, right? So that's why I would say, don't risk it. Don't risk it for the biscuit. What I mean is, when you're answering these questions and you pick 3 wrong words, but you know there's more. There's always more than 3. So you just end up guessing 2 or 3 more. Nah, because the chances of you guessing right, come on, not high. So it's most likely you're going to walk away with 1 or even 0. That's not worth it, all right? Because now you have spent time here and get nothing for it. And speaking of time, there's no extra time you're going to spend here. The reason is because to answer this question, you have to listen along to the lecture. You can't listen to it twice. You can only listen to it once. And since we're not going to guess, by the time it gets to the end, you're ready to go. So we're not going to spend any extra time here, and that is the time management. All right? Now, another thing I want to point out is, even if you're very good at this task, I still recommend that you practice it, but not for the purpose of improving this task. If you practice this because it makes you read and listen at the same time, it will help improve your listening comprehension. And you're going to need that skill for a lot of the other reading tasks. That's why I encourage people to practice this, because this task forces you to listen and read, and it's good for us. All right? So now we know more about what this task is. Are you ready? We are on to the last task of the entire exam. Let's go.